Israeli police have attacked Muslim worshippers inside the Aqsa Mosque in occupied East Jerusalem's Old City as weeks-long tensions between Israel and the Palestinians over Jerusalem soared again. At least 205 Palestinians and 6 officers were injured in the nighttime clashes at Islam's third holiest site and around East Jerusalem, Palestinian medics and Israeli police said, as thousands of Palestinians faced off with several hundred Israeli police in riot gear. The Palestinian Red Crescent Emergency Service said 88 people were hospitalized while most of the wounded suffered injuries to the face and eyes from rubber-coated bullets and shrapnel from stun grenades. The clashes were the latest in a deadly day that saw Israeli forces shoot and kill 2 Palestinians after 3 men allegedly opened fire on an Israeli base in the occupied West Bank. Protests over possible evictions. Protests erupted when Israeli police deployed heavily as Muslims were performing evening prayers at Al-Aqsa during the holy month of Ramadan. Israeli police closed gates leading to Al-Aqsa inside the walled Old City. Dozens of Palestinians in an occupied East Jerusalem neighborhood are at risk of being evicted following a long legal battle with Israeli illegal settlers, and Palestinian protesters have clashed with Israeli police in the city on a nightly basis since the start of the Muslim holy month of Ramadan. The unrest has drawn attention from across the region, with neighboring Jordan warning Israel against further provocative steps, and Iran seizing on the sensitivities around Jerusalem and encouraging the violence. Some 70,000 worshippers attended the final Friday prayers of Ramadan at Al-Aqsa, the Islamic endowment that oversees the site said. Thousands protested afterwards, waving the green flags of Hamas and chanting pro-Hamas slogans before dispersing peacefully. Israelis and Palestinians are bracing for more violence in the coming days. In recent days, protesters have scuffled with police and illegal settlers over the threatened eviction of dozens of Palestinians in the Sheikh Jarrah neighborhood in occupied East Jerusalem. Israeli security looks on as they stand by a burning car in the Sheikh Jarrah neighborhood of Israeli-occupied East Jerusalem on May 6, 2021, amidst confrontations between Israeli security and Palestinian demonstrators in solidarity with local Palestinian families facing eviction as part of an ongoing effort by Jewish Israelis to take control of homes in the neighborhood. AFP. Several Palestinian families in Sheikh Jarrah have been embroiled in a long-running legal battle with Israeli settler groups trying to acquire property in the neighborhood north of the Old City. Israeli annexation. Israel captured East Jerusalem, along with the West Bank and Gaza, territories the Palestinians want for their future state. In the 1967 Mideast War, Israel annexed and occupied East Jerusalem in a move not recognized internationally and views the entire city as its capital. The Palestinians view East Jerusalem, which includes major holy sites for Jews, Christians and Muslims, as their capital, and its fate is one of the most sensitive issues in the conflict. Neighboring Jordan, which made peace with Israel in 1994 and is the custodian of Al-Aqsa, weighed in on Friday, saying Israel's continuation of its illegal practices and provocative steps in the city is a dangerous game. Building and expanding settlements, confiscating lands, demolishing homes and deporting Palestinians from their homes are illegal practices that perpetuate the occupation and undermine the chances of achieving a just and comprehensive peace, which is a regional and international necessity, Jordan's Foreign Minister Ayman al-Safadi tweeted. U.S. says critical to de-escalate Jerusalem tensions. Meanwhile, the United States called for de-escalation in occupied East Jerusalem, and warned against carrying out a threatened eviction of Palestinian families that has sent tensions soaring. "We're deeply concerned about the heightened tensions in Jerusalem," said Deputy State Department spokeswoman Jelena Porter. She said it was critical to de-escalate tensions and avoid any unilateral steps that could worsen the situation such as evictions, settlement activity and demolition. Porter said the State Department was concerned in particular about the potential eviction of Palestinian families in Silver neighborhood and Sheikh Jarrah, 2 areas of East Jerusalem where tensions have been running high. She noted that some Palestinian families targeted for eviction have lived in their home for generations. Turkey accuses Israel of terror. Turkey criticized Israel and accused it of unleashing terror on Palestinians, with several Turkish officials calling for other countries to voice condemnation. A foreign ministry statement urged Israel to immediately end its provocative and hostile stance and act with reason. Shame on Israel and those who keep silent in the face of disgraceful attacks, Turkish presidential spokesman Ibrahim Kalin said on Twitter late on Friday. We call on everyone to stand up against the policies of occupation and aggression of this apartheid state, he said.